Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Dana Scranton, and welcome to 8 Minute Wisdom. Well, it's the 1st of February, 2025, and I took a long break. A lot of things go on in life, and sometimes you just have to step away from the platforms and the tools and the things that you've adopted as your lifestyle. So, that said, I'm back. Um, Took a long time doing various things, not the least of which is trying to identify a course forward. So what I want to share with you today is a basic philosophy, and it's going to be the underpinning, the foundation, if you will, of what we talk about going forward. Here in 2025, we're now kind of entering into the next phase of a very rapid change. And that change is occurring in societal areas, financial, ideological, health. It's occurring at breakneck speed everywhere. And so there's a tendency to get entrained into all of that, especially if you happen to have one of these, cell phones, right? I mean, if you got a cell phone, I'll hold still long enough to see it. It constitutes the hub of your information. Well, that hub of information all of a sudden becomes your identity. You have to be very careful with that in this new era. The new frontier that is in front of us demands one thing of us: clarity. That's my word for the year. You can adopt it if you want. Clarity of what? Well, clarity of everything. Beginning with clarity of identity. Who are you? Who are you truly? Not what you believe other people believe you are, not what you want to appear as to other people, but who are you? Getting in touch with what you believe, with your desires, your vision of your life going forward, your purpose. Clarity of identity is where you begin. That's not as easy as it may seem. Now, why is that so important? Because in this world that's coming at us, the world is trying to program us to be who they want us to be. When I say world, there are a lot of entities that fall into that category. AI is a wonderful tool. It is also a potentially dangerous tool because it can become your identity. I've found myself actually feeling sorry for an AI bot because I found it was in error and had to go correct it and had a lot of dialogues with it. And I thought, well, wait a minute. This isn't a human being. This isn't an organic life form. That's just one example. Then you have the ideological side of things, political side of things, where you are being manipulated. And it's no longer just about being manipulated by some political party. It's a global ideology, and this isn't a conspiracy theory. Just take a look at all the information that's flying around. And technology gives ideological purpose to a lot of entities that no longer had it because you're able to get your message out there. Don't neglect the messages that are important and make sense. The only reason I'm mentioning clarity is because as I went down in my thought processes, trying to determine how best to use my personal energy, my focus, my time, my emotion, clarity was the word that kept coming back and back. Because clarity is an internal journey. First of all, clarity of identity. Who are you? Why are you who you are? Is that who you truly want to be? And if it's not, what are the paths to change? So clarity is powerful in that regard. Next, clarity of purpose. Now, purpose, as you've heard me speak before, is the foundation of success. If you aren't living with purpose, then you're living with somebody else's purpose. That's truly the way it works. If you don't have a vision of the purpose that you have for being here on this particular planet, then chances are you're living somebody else's purpose. Don't do that. You are too valuable of an individual. You have too much energy and resources within you to expend them, to waste them, to cast them aside for someone else's agenda. Third, clarity of impact. Now, impact is one of those words that suggests smacking into something. Impact is basically a means of taking a energy, exchanging that energy for the momentum of something. In other words, that energy becomes the force that strikes an object and pushes that object forward. In the human sense, our identity and our purpose engages us in a process that creates enthusiasm. That enthusiasm is energy. That energy then focuses us in a certain direction in life that causes our energy, our purpose, to manifest in the form of impact on the world, however you so define that world. And you've heard me say this before if you've been on this channel. Impact on the world is the world you defined. That can be one person, a child, a spouse, a particular individual. It can be an organization. It can be a community, state, country, the whole world. It can be a segment, children in Africa who are struggling. Your world is how you define it. See, this is part of your identity and your purpose, and now clarity of impact. Life is short, and you have an opportunity to make a difference in the world that makes a difference in you. Don't lose that bit of philosophy. The impact and the difference you make on the world ultimately makes you more of who you desire to be. Your efforts are not lost, even if the impact you desire does not manifest to the magnitude that you desired, or it takes a different direction or a different form. You have grown in that process and become a greater version of yourself. So clarity in those three areas: clarity of identity, clarity of purpose, clarity of impact. Consider that as a mission for this year, 2025. Now, we have a world coming at us that is very, very different than anything we've ever experienced. And this graphic that you see on the screen, I had that generated by AI, and you'll notice it depicts old times. There's some old buildings, railroad tracks, and then you've got holograms. You've got a guy with boots and jeans with a headset on. You've got holographic screens in the background. What does that depict? What that depicts is we live in a world that is so full of resources, yet our journey onto the new frontier of the next quarter century is not unlike forging a path across the frontier of the United States way back in the 1700s and 1800s when people went west. In effect, that's what you were doing as an entrepreneur. You're forging a new direction, a new frontier. It's your frontier. The obstacles you encounter are opportunities. The tools that you have to mine the gold and the precious minerals of life that exist out there on the frontier are plentiful. Don't get distracted shopping for all the tools that are out there. Find a tool that aligns with your clarity of identity, purpose, and impact. Use that tool. Mine the frontier for opportunities. The world needs who you are. Now, here's the final word I want to share with you today. Why is this so blasted important? Because in this new world, there's going to be a lot of change, and I'm going to get blunt here, that dehumanizes humanity. And I'm talking about AI. I am not an anti-AI. I've lived in technology all my life. I think it's a cool tool. But there's a lot of forces moving to mute the value of the individual. As an entrepreneur, you can avoid that trap and help the rest of the world avoid it as well. Now, keep in mind my definition of an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is somebody who identifies and understands the needs of others, and then with courage, conviction, and resourcefulness, connects them with a means of fulfilling that need. A means, not necessarily the means. In other words, you are more focused on ensuring that you do your part to help your world, such as you define it, rise to the next level of humanity. Respect the human, respect the individual, respect their potential. Don't let the rapid evolution of technology dehumanize who you are, the impact you can bring to the world. So that's kind of the deep philosophical discussion for today. And I hope it meant something to you because, I'm fortunate to have gone through many years of change. I am ever so grateful for that. And I would love to be around another 100 years to see what else happens. Because what's happening right now is pretty cool, but you have to put it in the perspective of clarity. So, that said, I want to thank you for being here today live. If you aren't live and you're looking at the video after the fact, great. I appreciate you. I hope that you found some value in what I had to say today. All right, well, take care, and we'll see you out there on that frontier of possibilities, and of course, in the next video. Take care.